Seattle, the NHL is thrilled to welcome you.
I had to know this one was coming. Episode 23, Trev's Hockey Show, here on Trev TV. I'm the Trev. Y'all know that. I don't even know why I keep explaining that I'm the Trev, but in lieu of not having a Seattle hockey jersey, and I really wished I did. I mean, there are the Thunderbirds. There's the Everett Silvertips, who play in Washington State, but I don't have a Seattle hockey jersey, so the Mariners will have to do. If I had a Seahawks jersey, I'd probably say the same thing. But anyway, I'm talking. As you can guess, obviously, today's episode is more or less in regards to the Seattle vote, which was handed down by the Board of Governors very early this morning, probably about 12 hours ago. And I know I'm late to the punch. I know a lot of guys have me beat and given their thoughts on it, which is fine. Awesome to them. But today I'm giving, right now, I'm giving my thoughts on it. Because if anybody out there knows me half as well as they think they do, they'll know I've been pushing for this since 1998, the time I went to Seattle. And, sure, it was a 20-year wait, but goddamn, it was worth the wait. I mean, yeah, I've got a couple of years because they don't start play till 2021. But hey, that's enough time to convert this into a war room full of just Seattle, whatever they're going to call themselves, decorations. But let's go over the facts. The facts are real simple. Start with the Board of Governors. The Board of Governors voted unanimous. And basically what that means, out of 31 votes, they got all 31. They only needed 24, or 75% in the mathematical term. But they got all 31. Awesome. And I know that's only because of the price tag. For $650 million as an expansion fee, compared to the $500 million Vegas paid a couple years ago, talk about inflation. As well as having to pay $800 million to renovate Key Arena, which they are calling the Seattle Center Arena for the moment. I mean, who knows what they'll call it after corporate sponsorship, which is coming, guaranteed. It always does with any team. There's always a corporate name attached to the arena, which is fine. But you add that all up, that's $1.15 billion. Billion. You could have bought two teams for that. The money. First world problems. To be so rich, to wonder, hey, what am I going to do with all this money? I'm just going to buy a team. Good for them for picking the right place to want to put this team. I'm stoked beyond words right now. I can't explain what this means to me, but I am stoked beyond words. So as I mentioned, the team won't start play till the 2021-22 season. So that gives them 3 years, which gives them plenty of time to gut out and renovate Key Arena. And for my own self, I'm glad they're keeping the roof. The roof is obviously the landmark. The roof is obviously what draws people to Key Arena. And it's a beautiful roof. It is a beautiful roof. So it gives them plenty of time to do the renovations. I know initially the ownership group was pushing for 2020. But for 2020 to feasibly work, they would have had to start construction months ago. So even at a 24/7 pace, counting having your guys work holidays, which a lot of unions will say no to, and you got to think all these trades and construction crews that are going to come in are all unionized. They still wouldn't have had it ready until at least November 2020, which would have put the team in a very bad spot. They couldn't have had their home opener when the season began, which would have sucked, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And even then, if you rush the building, there's no guarantees it's built 100% perfectly. And that's what you want. You don't want your arena to be a safety hazard, and you don't want your arena to be built while you're open. So given that, they're forecasting March, April 2021 is when Seattle Center Arena, Key Arena, whatever you want to call it, will be ready. Plenty of time. It gives them enough time that if they do make a mistake, they have enough time to go over it. And they can do everything right. Perfectly right. And given how a lot of NHL arenas are being built nowadays, you want it to stand out. I mean, you look at the Pizza Box, Little Caesars. State of the art from top to bottom. Top to bottom. The roof lights up, for damn sakes. I'm catching myself on that now. Rogers Arena here at Edmonton. State of the art, top to bottom. The scoreboard is huge, humongous. T-Mobile Arena down in Vegas. I've never been in it. I've never been in the Pizza Box either. State of the art, top to bottom. And a lot of these arenas are built off the Consol Energy Center. Sorry, PPG Paints Arena. I know all you Penguins purists are getting ready to cram down my throat and say, get it right. They're all built off that model. So that says a lot as far as expectations and what really needs to go into it. Now, having Seattle come into the league, obviously, natural fit is the Pacific Division. So they went ahead and realigned. And I got bad for you, news for you, Arizona. You're going to the Central. You're going into the division that has the Blackhawks, the Jets, the Wild, the Blues, the Stars. I know I'm forgetting somebody. And Colorado. I think I'm still forgetting somebody. But either way, they're going to one of the tougher divisions of the league. So I don't feel sorry for them because it is only Arizona. And you could look at it from the natural thought process of, hey, if it doesn't work out, as it hasn't worked out in 20-some years in Arizona, you can always shift them down to Houston. And I think that's ultimately maybe in the back of their minds that, hey, we have to consider this, which wouldn't be a bad thing. Give the Stars a natural rival because they could use it. And I'm not saying the Stars are any worse off with not having a rival, but could you imagine a Houston-Dallas rivalry? If you play it right, it could go really good. Really good. I give a lot of people a lot. As for a team name and colors, they're coming. Yeah, they're coming. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights weren't named right off the bat. So let's be patient. But with the names and all, just by watching the press conference, it seemed like they really did not want to use the Metropolitans name. And I'm okay with that. They could name themselves the Sockeyes for all I care. They could name themselves the Sasquatch for all I care. I'm still going to jump on the wagon. Yes, this does mean I am ready to jump off the Red Wings boat and right onto the Seattle boat. Like I said, I've wanted this for 20 years. Why wouldn't I jump? But not using the Metropolitans name is a good thing. And I'm not saying a team like the Senators are wrong for using the name Senators, or the Jets are wrong for using the name Jets. That's natural. I mean, the Senators are history in Ottawa. The Jets are history in Winnipeg. Where I think someone like Ottawa did it wrong, however, is having their history tied in to the former Sens history, which it doesn't. I mean, good on them for raising the Stanley Cup banners for the Ottawa Silver Seven. Remember, they were the Silver Seven for about 3 of those Cup wins, not the Senators. And honor that. And if the Metropolitans, if Seattle's team did something like that, that would be cool. I'd like that. Just raise up the banner saying Stanley Cup champs 1917. That would be cool. You don't need to tie into the old history because the Metropolitans were never an NHL team. They were a PCHA team. before anything else. And yes, they were the first American team to win the cup. We can't forget that little tidbit of history. That would be cool if they did that. I mean, I'm not saying that they will. I'm not saying that they won't. I don't know what their thought process on that is. But if they honored it, hey, that's awesome. Of course, with the announcement of Seattle being team number 32, the question was quickly brought up, what does this mean for future expansion? Hopefully, and I'm saying this not as someone who's worried about too many teams diluting the product or not enough players to be competitive or anything like that. 32 is enough. Unless they can find a way where they can make 36 work, 32 is plenty. So what does this mean for Quebec City? What about it? What exactly about it? And this is where the keyboard warriors came out today. Do I think Quebec deserves a team? No. I've never thought they deserved a team. And this isn't me being anti-East or anti-Quebec or anything like that. And I don't even think that's Bettman's standpoint. Here's the facts. One, the Canadian dollar. With a price tag of $650 million for a team, for an expansion team, do you think the Canadian dollar could support that? And fact number B, no ownership. As soon as the Quebec bid got put on the back burner, the initial Quebecor group did not want to pursue it anymore. So, there's two reasons. And I can think of many more, I'm sure. I'm sure more people could think of many more reasons why Quebec won't have a team as far as expansion is concerned. But don't let that deter you from relocations. And I'm looking at the Arizonas, I'm looking at the Carolinas, I'm looking at the Floridas. And I guarantee you, if the Carolinas, the Arizonas, and the Floridas made themselves more of a competitive team, you'd have more than 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people at the gate. You'd sell out every night. And you'd never have to worry about a talk of relocation. Ever. So it's not a case of the anti-Eastern Canada thing. It's everything I've mentioned. And like I said, if those three teams put out competitive product all the time, we wouldn't be worrying about who's going to move. I mean, the Islanders, they were saying we're going to move for the longest time until they got that Beaumont deal. The Islanders ain't going nowhere. Nowhere, no how. So really, what it means for guys like Quebec City, relocation. Don't give up your hopes yet. I'm sure it'll happen. Just don't know when. I wished I could have filmed my initial reaction to this. Because my initial reaction was, when I was at work, listening to the press conference, was pure euphoria, pure ecstasy. I was happier than a pig in poop. Caught myself again. So much so that I went around the office giving everybody high fives. That was my highlight of the unanimous vote. But I don't know how else I can say it. I'm happy this is finally happening. Stoked.com. But having said all this, that about wraps out episode 23. And I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm glad you did. Your viewership always means so much to me. Always has, always will. So feel free to like this video if you liked it. Even if you didn't, hit that like button anyway. Let me know you watched it. You can find Trev TV on Facebook at Trev's TV. You can find Trev TV on Instagram at rockstartrev TV. As for the next episode, well, I mean, there's plenty of ideas going around for December. I know by the end of the month, I'll at least have my first proper review show that I'm going to do. Not a case of me ranking anything or saying this is better or that's better. It'll actually be a review show. So keep your eyes open for that. Actually, it'll be two. One is something that's now become a Christmas present that I initially had intended to buy just for the sake of it looked pretty fucking neat. Okay, that's $1. And one will probably be a year in review, which I am actually going to put in the review show. Other than that, we'll see what comes up. But yet I've at least got a couple more episodes coming this month. I won't be dark like I was in November, but all the same. In the meantime, and in between time, keep on the lookout for more videos from the Trev. Later.